CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Najahe Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Now at 4, one person is dead following a wreck involving Miami-Dade Police. Police say it all began as an armed robbery. CBS News Miami's Trish Christakis is in Doral with the very latest.
Well, that armed robbery happened in Miami Beach on Monday, and this crash was linked to it. We have surveillance video of the impact from that crash. Take a listen. You can hear the crash, and now police cars driving up right behind it. This happened on Northwest 103rd Street and 1st Avenue in Miami Shores. Take a look at the extensive damage done to these cars. Now, police say the 2 passengers of the car that sped off were taken into custody, while the driver was rushed to Ryder Trauma, where he later died. The officer had non-life-threatening injuries and was taken to Jackson Memorial.
The information we have now is that there are only 2 vehicles involved in this. Our marked police vehicle with our robbery intervention detail detective and the subject vehicle. The subject vehicle is possibly traveling in the wrong lane of traffic, and our detective, our officer, attempted to avoid a collision. A collision did occur.
And charges are currently pending on those 2 passengers that were taken into custody. We'll, of course, let you know as the police give us more details. Reporting at headquarters, I'm Trish Christakis. Back to you.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
And taking a live look outside at downtown Miami, you can see the clouds have returned to South Florida, but are the winds back tonight as well? Let's get right to next weather meteorologist Cindy Pressler for all the details.
Naja, that's going to be the big story for the next couple of days. It's the wind. We've got a tight pressure gradient setting up. Right now we have a wind kind of variable at 9, but those winds will be veering to the northeast tonight and becoming gusty. 87 degrees even with all the clouds. Temperatures are still quite warm, not as hot as it was yesterday, but definitely the wind is going to be the story. Multiple marine hazards. We've got small craft advisory. Even a gale warning goes into effect. Wind advisories, high rip current risk. So anything near the water, that's what we want to watch. And this is why we have tight pressure gradient between high pressure situated over the eastern U.S., low pressure down in the Caribbean. Winds flow from high pressure into low pressure. When they're close together, that tightens in between, and that produces very strong winds onshore flow. Northeasterly winds the next few days, gusts as high as 35 miles per hour. So no doubt high rip current risk through Thursday right along the coastal areas. If you're going to the beach, that's something you're going to have to watch for. Also a wind advisory this through Thursday at 9 p.m. And of course, a gale warning goes into effect. This is mainly for boaters. We're expecting very strong winds along the water and out into the water. A gale watch as he heads down to the south here. So we've got a lot of wind expected for the next few days. So here we go again with those gusty winds. We saw that for a week last week. Now we've got it kicking in again. 87 degrees. That's the high so far today. 84 down at Homestead, Fort Lauderdale, 81. The Keys not too bad. Temperatures in the lower 80s down here, kind of a mix of clouds and sun. But as you can see, we've got a few showers sitting off the coast. Northerly winds at this point, some gusts high as 20 miles per hour. But as those winds veer tonight, these little showers will start to move into the coastal areas. You got a little bit of a convergence as the winds hit the coast, the shore. So we could see a few showers later on this evening into the overnight hours. We'll watch for that. And then again tomorrow, we could see a spot shower. But overall, I think for the next few days, a chance for a shower because of this flow. That is going to be a possibility. It looks like by Friday evening, a better chance down in the Keys. But yes, the rain definitely on the increase as we head into the weekend. So windy conditions with a spot shower here and there. That's going to be the case. Temperatures not too bad. They'll come down just a bit. And then this weekend, as the front sits down here south of the mainland, we'll try to come back just a little bit, sending some moisture northward. I think Saturday is going to be the biggest day where we could see a chance for some showers. We'll head down to the tropics right now. Well, we've got a little system that we're watching here. 40% chance. We've been watching this for a couple of days. No problem, no threat to the United States, no threat to us. So we're just going to watch that chance for some showers and storms moving into Central America. High tomorrow, only 80 degrees. Very windy the next few days. This weekend, look for a better chance for showers by Saturday.
In Tel Aviv, you could see people running to shelter. They were responding to the warning of rockets. Israel Defense Forces say their latest airstrike killed a Hamas commander. 50 Palestinians were also killed after that airstrike in Gaza. And for the first time in more than 3 weeks, hundreds of people waited at the border between Egypt and Gaza, and they've been allowed to leave. Let's get right to CBS News Miami's Tina Kraus live in Tel Aviv with the very latest. Tina.
Naja, good evening. Well, this humanitarian breakthrough in starting to get Palestinians and foreign passport holders out of Gaza is welcome news, especially for more than 400 U.S. citizens and their families, because they are desperate to leave. It comes as Israel keeps up its airstrikes and its ground assault on Hamas militants. Hundreds of Palestinians holding dual citizenship left Gaza Wednesday, including some Americans, through the Rafah border crossing into Egypt. Ambulances filled with dozens of injured Palestinians were also allowed to leave. Headed into Gaza, more humanitarian aid, though health officials say the supplies are still just a fraction of what's needed for the millions of civilians living in the Hamas-controlled territory, which has been almost completely cut off since the brutal terror attack on Israel last month. The humanitarian breakthrough comes as Israel intensifies its military operations in Gaza. Hamas says Israeli missile strikes on the northern Jabalia refugee camp killed and injured dozens of civilians. Israel says the strikes killed dozens of Hamas fighters, including a senior commander, and destroyed a tunnel complex. In Jerusalem, mourners gathered for the funeral of one of at least 16 soldiers Israel says have been killed since the start of the ground invasion. While in Tel Aviv, sirens warned of incoming rockets, sending Israelis running to shelters. Israelis we spoke to say every day is a struggle with the heartbreak and anxiety war brings.
You have to take a deep breath to fill the lungs with breath, with air.
To feel life.
To feel life, to go on.
Local markets here are much emptier than usual as Israelis try to find their own way to live through a war they're being told will be long and difficult. Israel's military says 240 hostages remain in the hands of Hamas tonight. That's believed to include 10 Americans. So far, just 4 civilians have been released and 1 Israeli soldier rescued. Naja.
Tina, thank you so much for the latest from Tel Aviv. And stay with CBS News Miami on air and online for the latest on the Israel-Hamas war. We will bring you any new developments as they happen. A hearing wrapped up just a short time ago in Fort Pierce. It was to go over the trial against former President Donald Trump. Trump's legal team asked to push the trial back until after the 2024 presidential election. Also, the Trump's organization's $250 million fraud trial will become a family affair. Donald Trump Jr. will take the witness stand. He will take the stand tomorrow. Ivanka will be on the stand next Wednesday. Stay with us. More news when we come back. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. New details. The Federal Reserve keeps rates unchanged, but it leaves open the possibility of a future hike. Many say the Fed will hold rates steady for the second time in a row. We're going to have the latest on this announcement tonight at 5. The Seminole Tribe of Florida announced plans to debut in-person sports betting in December. The news comes after the Supreme Court rejected an emergency bid last week. The games will launch on Thursday, December 7th at all 3 Seminole casinos in South Florida. Now to Fins on CBS Miami. The Miami Dolphins hit the practice field today for the first time in Germany. CBS News Miami's Kim Bokamper is in Frankfurt with more.
All right, after taking a day off yesterday, doing a little sightseeing, getting some of the local flavor around Frankfurt, the Dolphins went back to work today in preparation for maybe the biggest game of the season, the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday.
Sion, I know what you guys are thinking. I'm bigger in person. You're right.
The Dolphins went to work in preparation for Sunday's matchup with the Kansas City Chiefs for the first time here in Frankfurt. Looks like there may be a little bit of good news on the horizon when it comes to players that have been dinged up over the last couple of weeks. Now, as for Mike McDaniel, he certainly looks jacked up watching his team work, and why not? Looks like maybe center Connor Williams, he may be ready, as well as Teron Armstead. He's getting close. Same thing for Xavier Howard, who missed last week's game, and Javon Holland. He also missed last week's game while in the concussion protocol. In the meantime, Tua and the rest of the squad seem to be embracing the idea of playing in front of an international crowd.
Coming here and playing on Sunday, I think one of the things that I'm excited for is the fans. I don't know, how many people from Germany watch American football or doesn't. So that's what I would say I'm excited about for the fans. I'd like to know what they'd be cheering for, or if it's a field goal they cheer for, it's a field goal they cheer for, things like that. And then if they have chants, we'd love to hear them.
Fans that are newer to the game, or maybe don't get that are really, really big fans of the NFL but don't get to see any live. I know exactly what that is like as a fan. So it's a privilege.
Well, it's nice to see the Dolphins getting healthy again, getting close to this big game on Sunday. They still have a few days of work to get ready, maybe get some more guys coming back to the field. We'll see. But for now, Kim Bokamper from Frankfurt with the Dolphins. We'll see what they can do.
Looking forward to a great game. Kim will be with the Finns all week in Germany, and he'll have reports throughout the week. Then on Sunday, we get things started with Dolphins Weekly Live at 8 a.m. Then the Coach Mike McDaniel Show at 8:30 a.m. Then join us for fifth quarter on TV 33 right after the game. That's the CBS News Miami Quickcast. I'm Najahe Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami, and have a wonderful day.